Today we're going to review 10 Roblox BedWars kits you should never feed, and when I mean by feed, I mean let them kill you, and in some cases damage you. The kits we're covering are kits that benefit if they get a ton of kills or damage on other players. These are honestly my favorite types of kits because you can use them to your advantage late game if you enjoy longer matches like me, where you can just keep killing other players. Before we dive into these kits, just want to say, yep, I am sick. That's why my voice sounds like a talking Elmo toy gone wrong. Seriously, like, oh man, my voice. But I ended up catching COVID finally after avoiding it after, I don't know how many years has it been around. It's been like 2, 3, I don't even know. But yeah, finally got it. I just couldn't pass up making another video for you since it's been like a week and no videos, and that's just not okay. So yeah, I'm still sick. I've still got COVID, but hey, we're making a video. Also, side note on these kits, the developers of the game do make changes all the time to game balance, and they also add kits frequently. So if you're watching this weeks from now and something feels a little off or a kit is missing, that's likely the case. Let's just get to it. First up, we're going to cover Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter is a Season 1 Battle Pass kit, and you got it for free when you reach level 16. This one is honestly a really underrated kit. With Bounty Hunter, at the start of the match, you're given a random target, which is represented on the screen with their avatar and player's name. So you can easily track them across the map with a giant marker that floats above their head, making it really easy for you to track them and ambush them when they least expect it. If you kill them, you will be given a bounty reward, usually consisting of 2 diamonds and 2 emeralds, making it really easy to get stacked quickly if you're able to find and kill them. Now, there's a downside of this kit. You gotta find them, which makes this kit less useful in larger modes like 30v30 and in some cases squads, but it's still insanely good in duels, solos, and doubles, which is why you really don't want to feed this kit. It doesn't take much to get full diamond gear and control the entire map within minutes, as you can see in this match here, where I just swept the map after taking out the first bed. Next, let's talk about Hannah, and you might be wondering why Hannah is in this list, because technically she doesn't increase in damage if you feed her, but if you let her get a kill on either you, another player, a skeleton, or a drone, it makes it easier for her to get even more kills, making it possible for her to completely wipe teams. I've cleared 20 players in a room before with her execute ability because it does scale, and I'll talk about that in a second. So here's where the feeding part comes in. If you get a kill using execute as Hannah, your next execute is going to be able to be triggered if the enemy is at 31 HP. Unlike the previous was 25, it actually gets easier. So it stacks it's like 6%. So next one's 6, so it's going to be 31 HP. If you get another kill after that with execute, it's going to combo up and it's going to only require 37. And ultimately, if you do a 4th execute attack on the next player, it only requires 43 health. Now, this does have a decay period of 8 seconds. So pretty much what's going to happen is if you don't get it, keep executing, you're going to lose that combo effect, and it's going to go back down to the previous combo until you finally reach 25 again. So next up is Lucia, and she's less about kills and more about just causing overall damage. Lucia is a Season 5 paid Battle Pass kit that was unlocked at level 5. How she works is you start the game with a free pinata that you can place on the map and fill with candy and eventually break it for resources, depending on how much you filled it up. So the more you put in, the more you get out. You can collect candy by causing damage to other players, which you do need to put in the pinata. It's not automated. You don't automatically fill it up by doing damage. It actually goes in your inventory, and you do need to bring it back to your pinata safely. If you die with the candy, before you put it in the pinata, you lose the candy. So you do have to actually fill up the pinata. Also, your pinata can be broken by enemies and teammates, so something to keep in mind. This kit is deadly in the right hands. Attitude Day is another kit you need to be careful feeding. This kit is pretty harmless early game, but if you don't pay attention, he can get fed pretty easily. You're going to often see Attitude Day players sneaking in and attacking, then running off, and that's to get frost crystals. I'll explain that in a second. So Attitude Day was a free kit during the winter minigame event that you could earn by completing it. Attitude Day can't buy a sword, but you're instead given a frost hammer that can be upgraded, similar to a Pyro's upgrade system. So when Attitude Day damages players, there's a chance for him to drop these frost crystals, which are required to upgrade the hammer. And similar to Pyro, the hammer can be upgraded in 3 different upgrade paths, and they do cost those crystals. And once you max out one of those upgrade paths, you do unlock a special ability, which is where it becomes very, very powerful. The Frost Hammer only does about 23 damage at the start and is quite slow. It only has a 0.4 swing cooldown, and it's just slow. You're not likely to win any 1v1 situations early game without upgrading it, which is why players tend to hit and run attacks until they've upgraded it. I kill Attitude Day players all the time because of this, since they often forget that they just don't do that much damage early game. However, on the flip side, if you let an Attitude Day get upgraded too much, it can become an absolute pain. I hate them. Next is a kit that requires no introduction since it was free this week in the weekly free kit rotation. With Miner, you can't buy an axe, which isn't a huge problem because this kit can get fed pretty fast. So except for void kills, if you kill a player as the Miner, you will petrify them into a stone statue, representation of their avatar, which can then be mined. So for example, if you kill an enemy that has diamond gear, you're going to get emeralds, diamonds, and iron. But for initial waves, like initial rushes without any kind of armor, it's just going to be a bunch of iron, and sometimes you get some diamonds. This is a really great counter kit for people who like to rush, since if you can out PvP them on their first rush attempt, you're already going to be fed enough to be able to just counter rush them and take them out. This is a kit that you can accidentally feed too much with kills before you realize it, especially if you're on a team and they're not paying attention, which honestly has happened to me more times than I care to admit. Next was Zephyr. This kit is one of the easiest kits to feed by accident. Zephyr is a Season 5 Battle Pass kit that required you to own the Battle Pass and reach level 50, which made it painful to get for most. So Zephyr has a wind ability that can be unlocked by killing enemies or getting a kill assist. Each kill or assist provides him with a wind stack up to 5 stacks, which only lasts for 50 seconds. If you don't get a kill before the timer runs out, you lose the wind ability altogether and it resets back to just 0 stacks. Also, if you die, you will lose the ability. The wind ability does a few things for Zephyr. First, it increases movement speed by 8% per stack, up to 40% movement speed buff at 5 stacks. At 5 stacks, you also get a really cool double jump, which is really nice for running away or chasing down players who like to build straight up for some odd reason. Next, you get an extra wind strike attack, which does plus 5 damage to your base damage and an additional 1 damage for each stack you have. Wind strike also has 50% armor penetration for that extra attack, making most players just think you're a hacker because it just absolutely demolishes them. So next one is no surprise, and it is Barbarian. And you just never want to feed a Barbarian, especially with the recent Rageblade buff. Just don't feed the Barbarian. Barbarians are one of the most easily fed kits in the game since they only require damage, and while the Barbarian kit isn't able to buy swords, it doesn't need to because it gets them for free. Barbarians start with a wooden sword like other players and unlock a better sword through gaining rage from causing damage or killing players. So the Barbarian can't get an emerald sword though, but instead unlocks a powerful rage blade it can unlock once it reaches max rage. The only way to lose rage is for the Barbarian to die, and even then they only lose a bit of it, and it usually causes them just to go back to the previous sword. A fed Barbarian that has a bit of skill is a deadly damage dealer. This one comes as no surprise. Sheila is one of the most hated kits in BedWars, unless you own her. She starts the game with a seahorse egg on her shoulder, and every 12 seconds, Sheila gains another 5 egg points. You also gain up to 100 egg points when killing an enemy, which is where we have the don't feed Sheila rule. Ultimately, you're going to hatch the egg once the egg points reach 150, and once hatched, the seahorse is an incredible automated turret, which pretty much auto-attacks enemies who cause damage to you, and also heals you and nearby teammates. The seahorse's damage scales every 100 egg points and can evolve at different stages. The first evolution is at 450 points, which gives it a second attack trigger, making it, pretty much shoot and heal faster. And finally, around 1500 egg points, you get an epic beam evolve, which does massive damage to enemies and heals you a ton. So Aerie is a notable kit where feeding is just never a good idea since you just can't take it back afterwards. Unlike Barbarian, when Aerie dies, she doesn't lose any of her damage from kills. Aerie's a Season 3 paid Battle Pass kit that was unlocked at level 50 and was probably one of the most broken kits in the game for a long time. This kit has received so many nerfs because she was just way too powerful. Honestly, she was just so powerful. And since then, she's kind of slipped from the, being the #1 kit in the game. Aerie is one of the kits that I tend to main. It's probably one of my most favorite kits in the game still, even after all the nerfs, because it's just so simple to use. And the only way to really counter Aerie is just not let her get any kills because she's useless without decent traction. If she doesn't get any kills, she's not a danger to anyone. After about the 10th kill, Aerie's a really tough opponent. Even with an iron sword, I like to fake a lot of players out, especially when my iron sword's doing basically about the same amount of damage as an emerald sword. It's a ton of fun just to kind of, run around with just an iron sword. Again, awesome kit, just super simple. You don't have to worry about dying. You don't lose anything. Just an easy kit to use, and that's why you just don't want to feed her. Pyro, yeah, this is going to be a fun one. So Pyro is a Season 1 Battle Pass kit. It's pretty much the first level 50 that was paid, so it's kind of pay to win. He's a sneaky one, though, because at first they can be very easy to kill, but in the end, a fed Pyro is a deadly kit. Pyro has a flamethrower that can be purchased with emeralds and used to burn enemy players. And when you burn an enemy player, a brittle effect occurs over them, which if they get attacked again while that brittle effect is active, it's going to cause extra damage and armor penetration. And if you or an enemy kills them while brittle, you'll receive an ember in your inventory, which can be used to upgrade your flamethrower, similar to Added upgrade screen. So the more you feed a pyro, the more embers they're going to get, and the more they can upgrade their flamethrower, creating this kind of a crazy snowball effect. This kit is often found in 30v30s because you can cause massive damage to large groups of players, and it's just super fun to use. Seriously though, avoid feeding this kit or you're going to regret it later in the match when it does spawn camp you. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on future videos like this one. Hopefully by then I'll be over this COVID. Anyway, until next time, peace.